Let's look at the figures. Let's look at the figures before the extension of collection of the permanent voter cards to November the 2nd. We saw a sharp increase from about 63% to about 99.82% collection of permanent voter card, with Oyi local government leading with 99.82%. And we have Agwata, which is the lowest, about 96.60%. What do you make of turnout of voters in this particular election?
Before going to that, let me give you statistics from 1999 in terms of voting, in terms of percentage. In 1999, we had 46% voters voting in Anambra State. In 2003, we had 47.2%. In 2007, we have 63%. That was the highest we've had since 1999. In 2010, it was 16%, it dimmed to 60%, from 63%. In 2013, we have 24%. And in 2017, we have 22%. Then, between 2017 and 2021, we had 10.1%.
So it's a sharp decline.
It's very, very sharp decline. So, in as much as I said that I believe that we have a very successful election today, what we have to look at is the voters' apathy. Have people finally agreed to believe that they own this election, they need to come out to vote, that there is a need for them to be able to come and vote and make sure that those they voted for. The question we have to ask ourselves, what are the reasons for voters' apathy?
That's actually the question I was going to ask you.
Fantastic.
What would you say? Over the years, we've seen the decline, it keeps going down.
Yes.
What would you say the issue is?
One, I would say probably enlightenment on the part of the politicians, those that are going for election. But most important, not just only in Anambra State, the people's confidence, people having confidence in the system. It has gotten to a point in Nigeria, not just in Anambra State, where people believe that they vote and their vote don't count.
But they
and there's so many reasons.
They register to vote.
Sorry?
They register to vote.
They register to vote.
Number of
look at this thing. Overnight, about 98% collected their voters' card.
Yes.
And you come to ask yourself that out of 98%, how come that we're just having 10% voting? It becomes a problem. If you take, for example, in 2021, with registered voters of 2,525,471, 2,117,323 voters collected their PVC. But when it comes to election, that election, ask me how many people came to vote. 253,388 voted out of 2 million. Then what does that do? So it could be so many reasons. Then we'll talk about the issue of security. That is one. But the fact remains that at times people still believe that their votes don't count. And when you believe that your votes don't count, then most often than not, you say, what's the essence of my going to vote when I know that at the end of it, there could be so many factors. Their votes don't count does not necessarily mean that they did not vote. But the fact remains also that the courts, most often than not, you see the people going to the court and the court annulling elections where people voted, hundreds and thousands of people voted for whatever, for technical reasons, not just because of the fact that the technical reasons. And at the end of it, they say, oh, okay, since the one I voted for last time, they are not. It was the sense of my coming out. That's why you see people all around. If you go to Anambra, and I'm sure all the young boys are on the streets playing football and the rest of it. And while some people are in the houses watching us talking. So we need to increase the rate and make sure that there's some level of credibility in our electoral system where people will believe in the election and come out to vote.
How can that be restored in this particular election that we're seeing?
Number one.
That will kickstart at 8:30.
Number one is INEC. I've said it. It's INEC. INEC must make sure that the INEC chairman and all his ad hoc staff, as well as staff, must make sure that everything runs according to plan. Two, when I talk about ad hoc staff, you are talking of non-essential staff of INEC. It's not just only INEC officials that conduct election. We have our youth corps, we have some people that the issue of vote buying has become part of the system.
We'll get there, but quickly, let's address the issue of logistics at this time. INEC chairman has promised that by 7 o'clock, there will be deployment of electoral materials to all polling units. He did mention that about 45 racks have been put in place in this particular election. So do you see easy transportation of some of these materials, even to the riverine areas in Anambra State?
Anambra is more of a hinterland than riverine area. I know that Anambra is surrounded by the water, River Niger, and the rest of them, but it's more of a hinterland. So there's possibility that you can get the materials as early as possible to the polling stations. So if you're able to do that, that means that essential materials ought to have left. Some essential materials leave as early as about 5 a.m. in the morning. And when those electoral materials are there, we also have security people on ground to make sure that those materials get to the polling stations. Then the staff, are they on ground as well? Because most often than not, the materials get there. And if you don't have security, most often than not, the officials of INEC wouldn't feel comfortable starting what they need to do. Yes. So that is, then the logistics also include the beavers, the machines. We'll be talking about network or no network and this and the rest. Most often than not. Now you know that you have to be captured. Absolutely. If those beavers or the machines are not working effectively, the possibility of you casting your vote becomes a problem. So at times it goes beyond just the transportation. No, we'll move it. We move the vehicles, make sure the materials get to them. You can get to this, and the network is not working, and people cannot get themselves captured. But what you can be rest assured is that voters will always come out. Voters will always come out. But are we sure that all the necessary things that we need to put in place to make sure that they're able to come there, vote, and move away, and other people vote and rest of them? So those are, logistics has always been an essential problem. But my own is that how do we make sure that the voters come out en masse without any level of intimidation to cast their vote? That will be the litmus step.